Hi, how are you? It's Teknikolour. I am back with another speed build, but this time it's a little bit different. It's not in The Sims 4. It's in a new game, Tiny Glade, which I'm slowly becoming obsessed with. Let's check it out. So if you haven't heard about Tiny Glade yet, it's kind of a new game. It just sort of released, and it is kind of like a diorama builder. It's similar to The Sims 4 because you are essentially building, but there's no grids. So there are things that you can do in this that I feel like you probably couldn't achieve in The Sims 4. But at the same time, there's things at The Sims 4 that you probably can't do in this. But this is very cute and it's very different. The soundtrack is marvelous. It's just so whimsical and easy to get lost into. So you'll just be building. I tend to time lock. So you can actually have the time of day change as you're building or as you're taking photos or whatever. I, however, always decide to have it so that it is locked at a specific time. And I can also change like the position of the sun. So the shadows are working in my favor. Kind of love that feature. But I just basically decided to do whatever I wanted with this build. I really had no plan in place. I didn't know what I wanted it to look like. And this was really just me playing around and just trying to have fun and try to learn how to play the game, which was very easy to pick up. I will say there's a lot of tips and tricks that you will either discover as you are continuing to play Tiny Glade, or you could be watching other people play or just hear tips from other people and it will legitimately blow your mind. So as you might know, I stream on Twitch pretty much every single day. And I also stream a lot of The Sims 4. And if you are interested, this week, actually, if you're watching this on the day that it goes live, Wednesday, tomorrow is the release of the new Life and Death expansion pack for The Sims 4. And it's releasing on Halloween, and I'll have early access, and I'll also be giving away a copy of the expansion pack thanks to EA, since I am in the EA Creator Network now, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited. What's really interesting about Tiny Glade, though, is you can build during any season. So I love autumn. It's going to be Halloween, literally tomorrow. So I'm living out my autumn fantasy. And actually, I just found out that in Tiny Glade this week, they're doing a Halloween sort of themed weekly challenge. Typically, they have daily challenges, but they're testing out this one as a weekly challenge. And I don't know. I thought it was really cool. I built a little bit yesterday on stream in Tiny Glade, and I thought it was really fun. The lot that it gives you at the start for this challenge was also really cool. I won't spoil it for you, but check it out. But what I really like about Tiny Glade is you can put things in different places and it'll do different things. I know that makes no sense, so let me explain. Say you have one of the windows and they have like a couple of different window types. If you put that window on a wall, it'll be a window. But if you put it on the floor, it turns into like a hatch door. If you add another of that window type to that window, the window will get bigger. So you can see that there are some places where there's like a rounded doorway. That's because I put it on the wall close to the floor, so it turns into a door. Whereas if I put it up higher, it would turn into like one of those very beautiful, intricate, like cathedral-y sort of castle-y sort of windows. There's definitely a term for that, but I can't think of it right now. So if you also decide to snap like rectangular windows together, sometimes they'll have shutters or they'll turn into like a bay window. And I don't know, just the thought that the developers put into this game and how the environment interacts with your changes is just wild to see in real time. You'll also see during this speed build, there are a bunch of animals that are kind of floating around. You might not be able to tell what they are. For instance, like there's kind of these white blobs walking around. If we're zoomed out, it's hard to tell, but if we're zoomed in, you can see that they're sheep, and they'll just walk around. They will just walk around the entire environment. But if you decide, oh, I actually want to put a building here, you could put it where the sheep is, and then the sheep has like a little umbrella. So the sheep like floats into the sky and then slowly floats down with its umbrella. And it's just so cute and whimsical. You could pet the sheep. There's ducks, you can pet the ducks. It's just such a charming little game. And I can see myself zoning out for hours in this game, just building whatever I want to. And I have also seen friends building in this before I even got the game. And I don't know, people have been building the most marvelous creations that it's just mind-boggling to me that they can come up with these sort of ideas. It's just so exciting to see what people come up with and to see what you can do with this game, because you might look at this and be like, oh, well, I guess you can't do that much, but you'll be surprised at how much you're able to do the more you explore. So for instance, I didn't realize in the game that I can put a building on stilts until the end of this build. And then I was like, oh, wait, what I wanted to do earlier, I could do. I just didn't realize that I could do it. It's just wild. Like, I also found out that if you put a pathway through like a fence or a building, and then you also have water under that, it'll have like the sewer grates. So I don't know. It was just like so inspiring to see how any small change that you make in this game changes the environment in a way that you might not have been expecting, but then might dictate how you continue to build. You might like it and be like, ooh, I'm going to embrace this. Or you might hate it and be like, actually, I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to change what I'm doing here. And you're always in control. So it might feel like your hand is getting forced into doing something that the environment is making happen that you might not like. But trust me, it's kind of like a trust the process sort of thing. And you can always adapt to how it looks. And a lot of times you can actually keep clicking on the item or adjusting, and that window or that door will keep changing. So for instance, you might see that they have a clothesline hanging from one window to another. But if you keep clicking, it might turn into a window box or something else, or just a plain window. It's wild to see how much thought they put into this game and how much it can just change on the fly. You can also change the light behind the windows, I believe. I didn't realize this until well after this build. I was watching somebody else play Tiny Glade and I was shocked. Because that didn't even occur to me. Because as you can see here, I build during the daytime. I didn't build at night. So I didn't even think that changing the light on the inside was possible. It was just wild to me. You can combine buildings to make like staircases. You can raise up terrain and lower terrain. You can add ponds and see how that interacts with your building types. It was so cool to see how everything came together. I was pleasantly surprised with this game. And I believe I heard about this game from Wholesome Games. They put on a Wholesome Direct every single year, and I love to check out the Wholesome Direct because there are so many interesting games that you might not have ever been introduced to. Wholesome Games puts a lot of effort into just compiling this list of games that you might be obsessed with, but you might not have heard of. So it's so much fun to check out each year's Wholesome Direct. I believe that this was actually announced or revealed in one of the Wholesome Directs, and I and a lot of people have been very interested in it since then. And I believe that there was a demo out that I didn't know about. And then I think there might have even been 2 demos that I missed. And I was so excited when I could actually purchase the game and start playing it. So I highly recommend, if you like building or if you just like playing around in like sandbox sort of games, I highly recommend this one. There's some other games that are similar that I have played that are not necessarily the same as The Sims 4, which is kind of like my main game, but like there's Townscaper, I believe it's called, where you're building on the water and you're just creating this creation. You can't live in it, you can't do anything with it. Similar to this one, it's kind of like just a diorama sandbox, but it's so much fun and it's so relaxing to do. And there's other games that have that fulfillment where you can actually like live inside your build, like The Sims 4 or Palia. And I don't know, it's just different. I feel like you won't really understand until you're in it, because you could be watching this and be like, oh yeah, it's cute, but I don't really get it. Trust me. It feels like there's not much to it. Like you can see there's two fence types, there's two building types, literally just like a square or rectangular like box sort of build, and then a circular build. And there's like 3 different window types, and it feels like you can't do much with it. But as you continue to build and explore, you can see there's just so much that you can do. And what I love is that the community will, if you're, for instance, on Twitch, the community will see what you're doing and they might have like a little suggestion, be like, what if you add like a path underneath this, because they know that it'll turn into something else. But I feel like people are not spoiling these sort of things, and it's not like a huge deal. It's not like spoiling a feature is going to like change your perception of the game. But the fact that adding on to this in an unexpected way, like just adding a path underneath it or a pond or something, you wouldn't expect it to change in that way, and it really does. Like, for instance, you can see that I built a doorway, which was by creating a path, and I added it onto like the side of my house because I thought it was like kind of whimsical. Like, it's not standardized that you would see it like in the center of the building. It's like right on the corner of it, and I don't know. It was just fun that you can do what you want with it, and the game adjusts it on the fly. Like, it's not like you're just like picking a specific door and you're just placing it down and now that's how that door looks. There's different things. Like, you might put a window and there might be some vines that grow over it. And you can move the trees, you can delete the trees, you can add the trees, you can adjust everything. And unfortunately, there still is that limitation of like this box. So like you have this lot like you would in The Sims 4 and you can't move past that. But I think once you realize the scale and the scope of Tiny Glade, you will be very interested to see how you can adjust things to make this work the way you want. For instance, you might say, oh, I wish that this lot was bigger because what I'm building is too big for this. But then you might start to adjust your builds to be smaller and the scale of it won't look odd, because I mean, depending on what you're making, the scale of it might look odd, but I feel like the majority of the time it's hard to explain, but I just feel like the more that you adjust and the more that you play with this, it's so cool to just see how Tiny Glade operates, because it's so, honestly, like, whimsical is the best word to describe it, because it just has this touch of magic that it just makes building way more fun that you would expect in this game, because you don't know what one action can do to change how your game reacts. It's just so exciting. What I also love is that there's different saves. So you can load into a previous save and you can adjust things, or you could just create a new build and you're not losing anything. I actually just found that out yesterday, and it's so fun to be able to just check everything out and just see what you can do with everything. Have you checked out Tiny Glade? Is this something that you're interested in? I'm also very excited to see what Simmers achieve with Tiny Glade, because I feel like a lot of people who play The Sims 4 have been fully embracing this game and are so excited to see what they can and can't achieve with this game. So it's very exciting to see, because something that you might not have ever thought of, somebody else might have done it, and then you're like, oh wait, I could try that in mine. And just it's just so cool to see what you can and can't do in the game. So I just can't wait to see what people end up doing with this. It also reminds me a lot of one of my favorite shows, Merlin. I miss Merlin so much. I actually started watching it with my boyfriend a while ago, but it was so soon after the show had finished that I just got kind of upset that it was over, so I didn't want to like continue watching it, but we'll have to revisit it because it was such a good show. But this just reminds me a lot of it, because it's that sort of castle village builder. I'm also not sure how much building I'll be doing in Tiny Glade, especially builds that I would publish here on YouTube. But if that is something that you're interested in, please let me know. I feel like I would probably spend way more time on a build in Tiny Glade than I would in The Sims 4. And I think it's just because time passes so quickly when you're building in Tiny Glade that you don't even realize how much time is actually passing. And maybe that's just how it's always been. Like I felt that way in The Sims 4, and now I feel like I've got way more of a handle on it that doesn't really occur to me anymore. But whew, I don't know. But anyway, let's pop into the game, because I think we're nearing the end of the speed build right now, and we can look at what Tiny Glade has to offer. So here we are in the game, and this is what I created in Tiny Glade. And you can see here are the lot lines. So you can see how this build takes up space within this. And I have seen so many people who have built, and they've created things that are like taking up the full usage space of the lot. And I really didn't. I just kind of like went with whatever I wanted, because I was just kind of like learning the game. And it's just so fun to see what you can do. Like for instance, you can go over here, see how there's a bird on this sheep. You could pet the sheep. You could pet the sheep. Isn't that not the cutest thing? You can also see with the passage of time. Right now I have it unlocked, but if we were just building right now, time would be passing. Time would just automatically be passing. And you can also have the position of the sun change. So you're building not in shadows. Just the fine-tuned control that you have over this game. And there's also a photo mode. So you can go in and you can change exactly how you want everything to look. And it's just crazy to see the amount of detail and control that you have with this game and what you can honestly come up with. It's just really beautiful to play around in. And I hope you enjoyed this speed build. I hope you will check out Tiny Glade and you'll have fun. And let me know what you think. If you would like to see more builds like this, please drop a like and subscribe so you never miss a future video. We do typically do a lot more The Sims 4 content, but if you'd like to see more Tiny Glade, please let me know in the comments down below. But I will catch you in the next video. And don't forget, if you are a fan of The Sims 4, especially with this new Life and Death expansion pack releasing tomorrow on Halloween, be sure to check me out over on twitch.tv/Teknikolour, because I will be checking it out in early access and doing a giveaway of the new expansion, thanks to the EA Creator Network. But again, I will see you soon. Bye-bye.